The story starts on a rainy night. A catchy song is playing on the radio while a professional hitman named Hyung-wook kills a man and hides the body inside his car trunk. After that, he drives away, leaving the victim's suitcase in the middle of the road, but just a few seconds later, a mysterious person secretly takes the suitcase. At the same time, in a small apartment nearby, we see a poor actor named Jae-sung, whose life is completely ruined. He has no money, no job, and no hope left. Feeling depressed, he burns all his old photographs and decides to end his life because he believes nobody would even care if he disappeared. But right before he can do anything, his angry landlady suddenly comes to his room and starts yelling at him for not paying rent, living like a mess, and not even taking a proper bath for days. While arguing with him, she notices a health insurance bill lying nearby, and Jae-sung quietly slips it into his pocket. After this, Jae-sung changes his mind for a moment and decides that before dying, he should at least clean himself properly, so he goes to a public bathhouse. There, he notices a rich-looking man bathing beside him. This man is Hyung-wook, the same hitman from earlier. Jae-sung immediately notices his expensive watch and realizes he must be very wealthy. Suddenly, Hyung-wook steps on a bar of soap, slips badly, and smashes his head on the floor. He falls unconscious, and his locker key drops nearby. Seeing this as a chance to change his luck, Jae-sung secretly switches his own locker key with Hyung-wook's key. Soon, paramedics arrive and take the unconscious Hyung-wook to the hospital, believing he is Jae-sung because of the switched keys. As soon as they leave, the real Jae-sung opens Hyung-wook's locker and is shocked to see expensive clothes, cash, and luxury items inside. For the first time in a long while, he feels like life is finally giving him a chance. He decides to enjoy one last luxurious day before ending his life. So, he wears Hyung-wook's expensive suit, takes his fancy car, and drives around the city. First, he visits his landlady and pays all his unpaid rent. Then he goes to different shops where he owes money and clears all his debts, leaving everyone shocked to see him suddenly acting rich. Later, he also visits a girl from the theater where he used to work and returns the money she once lent him, but she tells him that she's getting married soon. Hearing this completely breaks his heart. At that moment, Jae-sung realizes that stealing someone else's money and living their life cannot truly fix his problems. So, he puts all of Hyung-wook's belongings back into a bag and goes to the hospital to return everything. His plan is simple. He wants to secretly exchange the bags while Hyung-wook is asleep, but right before he can do that, Hyung-wook suddenly wakes up. However, there's one huge twist. Because of the head injury, Hyung-wook has lost his memory and now believes his name is Jae-sung because the hospital found that name on the health insurance paper in his pocket. Still, the name feels strange to him. Confused, he asks the real Jae-sung if they know each other, but Jae-sung gets nervous and quickly leaves the hospital with the bag. A little later, Hyung-wook is finally ready to leave the hospital, but there's another problem. Under Jae-sung's identity, he only has $2, and even the health insurance has expired, so he cannot pay the hospital bill. Just then, a kind paramedic named Rina comes to check on him. Hyung-wook politely asks if she can lend him some money and promises that once he finds his home using the address from the letter, he will pay her back. Rina feels unsure at first, but eventually agrees to help him. She pays the hospital bill and drives him to the address written on the letter. On the way there, both of them are surprised after reading that he is only 32 years old because he honestly looks much older. But when they finally reach the apartment, Rina quickly realizes that this man is completely broke and probably cannot return her money anytime soon. Inside the room, they see burnt photographs and a rope hanging nearby, making Rina understand that he had almost tried to end his life before losing his memory. Feeling sorry for him, she kindly tells him not to worry about paying her back right now before leaving for work. After being left alone, Hyung-wook decides that instead of giving up, he should rebuild his life from the beginning. First, he completely cleans the dirty apartment and organizes everything properly. Then he writes down all the small things he has learned about himself so far and starts talking to the neighbors, hoping someone can tell him more about his past. But the moment people hear he is the guy from the rooftop apartment, they immediately avoid him because Jae-sung had a terrible reputation in the building. One of the neighbors is an abusive husband who often hurts his wife. When Hyung-wook politely approaches him to ask some questions, the man misunderstands him and suddenly tries to punch him. But without even thinking, Hyung-wook easily blocks the attack and beats the man up like a trained fighter. Even Hyung-wook himself becomes shocked because his body still remembers fighting skills, even though his mind remembers nothing. A little later, Rina visits him again and finds him coughing badly while trying to smoke a cigarette. Hyung-wook explains that he found many cigarette butts in the apartment, so he thought smoking must be one of his habits, but clearly his body hates it. At this point, the only things he knows about himself are that he loves cleaning and is extremely skilled with knives. This suddenly gives Rina an idea. She takes him to her mother's small restaurant and convinces her to hire him because the restaurant badly needs help. Rina's grandmother is sick, and her younger sister should focus on studying instead of working there. Hyung-wook accepts the job, and the first thing they tell him is to smile more because his serious face scares the customers away. Meanwhile, on the other side, Jae-sung realizes something important. Since Hyung-wook has lost his memory, this is the perfect opportunity for him to completely change his life by pretending to be Hyung-wook. Using the car's GPS, Jae-sung finds the address of Hyung-wook's home and drives there, but the moment he arrives, he is left speechless because the apartment is huge, luxurious, and located inside one of the most expensive buildings in the city. While exploring the apartment, he finds several uniforms inside the closet and starts believing that Hyung-wook might actually be a police officer. Then he turns on the television, but strangely, there are no normal channels. Instead, the screen only shows a live security camera feed focused on a beautiful woman named Yoon-ju, who is peacefully doing yoga inside another apartment. Jae-sung spends the rest of the day relaxing, eating expensive food, drinking, and sleeping comfortably like a rich man. But after waking up later, he suddenly panics when he looks at the screen and sees Yoon-ju seemingly trying to harm herself. For a moment, he becomes terrified, but then he realizes she is actually just practicing different acting scenes before calmly returning to her yoga exercises. After this strange moment, Jae-sung searches around the apartment for more food and suddenly discovers a hidden box full of cash. The second he sees all that money, his eyes light up with excitement. Without wasting any time, he orders a huge feast for himself and starts enjoying his new fake luxury life even more. After eating all that expensive food, he decides to enjoy himself further by opening one of Hyung-wook's costly wine bottles. But the moment he pulls a certain bottle from the shelf, something unexpected happens. A hidden door suddenly opens inside the wall. Behind it, he discovers a secret room filled with weapons, fake IDs, burner phones, and security monitors. Several cameras are focused on Yoon-ju's apartment. Seeing all this makes Jae-sung believe even more that Hyung-wook must be some kind of secret police officer. Then he finds important notes about Yoon-ju. According to the files, she used to work for a dangerous company involved in illegal activities. Later, she secretly gave a pen drive full of evidence to the police, which is why she is now living under witness protection. Business at the restaurant becomes much better than before. One evening, while changing the date on a calendar, Hyung-wook notices an appointment written on the 25th. Hoping it may help him remember something about his forgotten past, he decides to go there. Soon, he discovers that the appointment is with television producers, who gather struggling actors and take them in a van to work as background extras in dramas and shows. Hyung-wook tries acting in different scenes and roles, but honestly, he is terrible at all of them. His expressions feel awkward, and everyone around him can clearly tell he has no acting talent at all. At the end of the day, after getting paid for the work, Hyung-wook notices something important on the producer's paperwork. Next to his name, there is an old address listed, and that address turns out to be Jae-sung's father's barbershop. Hyung-wook decides to visit the address, which leads him to a small barbershop owned by Jae-sung's father. But when he arrives, the old man sadly talks about his son and calls him a complete loser who never achieved anything in life. Hyung-wook notices something emotional. A calendar hanging on the wall shows that the father has been praying every single day for his son's success. Hearing this makes Hyung-wook feel bad. Without revealing the truth, he quietly leaves the shop. But after seeing how much the father still cares about his son, Hyung-wook makes a promise to himself that one day he will become a successful actor and make the old man proud. Meanwhile, Jae-sung keeps trying to get closer to Yoon-ju. He secretly follows her around and pretends that they keep meeting by coincidence. One day, while Yoon-ju is visiting her mother in the hospital, Jae-sung notices a suspicious man from her old company secretly following her. Realizing she may be in danger, he quickly grabs her and pulls her into his car. Thanks to the dark-tinted windows, she safely hides inside. But even after this, Yoon-ju still does not fully trust him. Then Thursday arrives. Jae-sung notices Yoon-ju carrying her suitcase into the middle of the street like she is waiting for someone important, but no one ever comes. After this, both Hyung-wook and Jae-sung begin working hard to build their new lives. While continuing his restaurant job, Hyung-wook seriously trains himself to become a better actor. He studies acting methods, practices speaking clearly, and follows a strict workout routine every single day. At the same time, Jae-sung keeps spending more time with Yoon-ju. He continues pretending their meetings are accidental, and slowly she starts trusting him more and more. Eventually, they begin hanging out together regularly. Since Yoon-ju cannot go outside freely because of the danger surrounding her, Jae-sung finds creative ways to make her happy inside the building. He sends her fun puzzle gifts and even uses a projector to play movies for her in the dark staircase area of the apartment apartment building. Little by little, the two start falling in love. But one thing still confuses Jae-sung. Every Thursday, Yoon-ju continues standing alone in the middle of the street with her suitcase, waiting for someone who never arrives. Meanwhile, Hyung-wook finally gets a small role in a gangster TV drama. At first, he is only supposed to play a bodyguard standing beside the gang leader, who is acted by a famous but extremely rude and selfish actor. However, Hyung-wook takes the role too seriously. During the action scene, instead of following the script, he uses his real fighting skills and easily beats up all the attackers himself while protecting the gang leader. Of course, this completely ruins the scene because the main hero is supposed to defeat the bad guys, not the bodyguard. So the director orders everyone to film the scene again properly. But surprisingly, this time the director is not angry at Hyung-wook. In fact, he becomes extremely impressed by his martial arts skills and decides to give him a much bigger role as the gang leader's trusted right-hand man. Later, when Hyung-wook finally gets his first speaking line on screen, he delivers it very awkwardly and barely says a few words correctly. But somehow, the director absolutely loves it. He feels Hyung-wook's cold and quiet style makes the character look more dangerous and powerful. Meanwhile, the famous lead actor becomes extremely jealous after seeing the director praise Hyung-wook so much. Soon, Hyung-wook's action scenes become a huge hit with the audience. People start recognizing him everywhere. Fans stop him on the streets, and even customers at the restaurant become excited whenever they see him. Seeing his growing popularity, Rina decides to become his personal manager and help him with his acting career. As Hyung-wook becomes more famous, the drama writers also begin giving his character more screen time. Soon, his character even starts having a secret affair with the gang leader's girlfriend inside the show, which makes the main actor incredibly jealous and angry. Then comes the episode where Hyung-wook's character is supposed to die. During filming, the lead actor becomes so jealous that he actually punches Hyung-wook for real instead of pretending. But instead of getting angry, Hyung-wook cleverly uses the real punch to make the scene look even more realistic. The viewers end up loving the scene so much that Hyung-wook's character becomes insanely popular. Because of this, the writers quickly change the story and bring his character back from the dead in the next episode, this time making him the new gang leader. Meanwhile, one night, Jae-sung hears one of Hyung-wook's secret phones ringing inside the apartment. After hesitating for a moment, he finally answers the call. The man on the other side sounds surprised because according to Hyung-wook's rules, he is supposed to ignore calls and only receive messages. The caller turns out to be a client, asking why Yoon-ju is still alive and why the job has not been completed yet. The man asks to meet in person, and Jae-sung agrees. To hide his identity, Jae-sung wears a face mask, sunglasses, and a cap before going to an abandoned building where several employees from Yoon-ju's old company are waiting. There, they complain that Yoon-ju should have been killed already and even offer extra money to finish the job faster. At that moment, Jae-sung finally realizes the shocking truth. Hyung-wook is not a police officer. He is actually a professional hitman. Trying to stay calm, Jae-sung takes the bag full of extra money and tells the men he will contact them later before quickly leaving the building. But his nervous behavior makes the company boss suspicious, so he secretly orders his men to follow Jae-sung and discover where Yoon-ju is hiding. After this, Jae-sung tries meeting Hyung-wook to talk about the dangerous situation. But when he finally approaches him, he quickly realizes Hyung-wook still has no memory at all. So instead of revealing the truth, Jae-sung simply pretends to be a fan asking for an autograph before walking away. Meanwhile, Hyung-wook faces another problem in his acting career. Even though he is amazing in action scenes, he is terrible at romantic scenes. The director becomes very frustrated because Hyung-wook looks completely awkward whenever romance is involved. Since Hyung-wook cannot remember ever being in love before, he decides to fix this problem by asking Rina to help him practice kissing. At first, Rina gets embarrassed and refuses, but after Hyung-wook sincerely thanks her for always helping him and tells her she is beautiful, she finally agrees. Soon, the two end up kissing in the middle of the street. For the first time, Hyung-wook feels real romantic emotions, and later, he uses those exact feelings while filming his drama scene. This time, the director absolutely loves his performance, but after watching the romantic scene on TV, Rina suddenly becomes jealous seeing Hyung-wook kiss another actress. To cheer her up, Hyung-wook takes Rina and her family out for a picnic together. Meanwhile, another Thursday arrives. Once again, Yoon-ju goes outside with her suitcase and waits alone in the street. This time, Jae-sung approaches her directly and tells her that the person she keeps waiting for will never come. He also warns her that if that man ever does return, he would only put her life in danger. To make her trust him completely, Jae-sung lies and says that he is actually a police officer assigned to secretly protect her. He then admits that after watching over her for so long, he genuinely started caring about her and could no longer stay distant. Jae-sung emotionally hugs hugs Yoon-ju, but nearby, the company men spying on them see everything. Now they believe Jae-sung and Yoon-ju are romantically involved. Because of this, their boss decides that both of them must be eliminated. Since they cannot decide which hitman to hire for the job, they call 4 different assassins and decide to hire whichever one arrives first. But there's one funny thing the company men do not know. All 4 hitmen they are trying to contact are actually the same person, and that person is Hyung-wook. He simply uses different fake names and keeps multiple phones for different jobs. Meanwhile, Hyung-wook, Rina, and her family continue enjoying their picnic together and spend a really happy day with each other. By the time they finally head back home, it is already nighttime, and it also starts raining. While driving, the radio suddenly begins playing the exact same catchy song from the beginning of the movie. Then something important happens. Rina stops the van at a red traffic light in the exact same place where Hyung-wook had heard that song before losing his memory. The rain, the music, and the location together suddenly trigger his memories. In an instant, Hyung-wook remembers everything about his old life. After quietly saying goodbye to Rina, Hyung-wook immediately rushes back to his secret apartment. There, he checks all his hidden phones and discovers countless messages asking him to kill both Yoon-ju and Jae-sung. At the same time, he also remembers Jae-sung as the guy from the bathhouse and the hospital. Then, while checking the security cameras, he sees Jae-sung taking Yoon-ju away to another apartment that he recently rented as a hiding place. Without wasting any time, Hyung-wook changes back into his old stylish clothes, takes back his car, and heads there immediately. When he arrives, Jae-sung desperately tries to stop him from entering, but Hyung-wook easily pushes him aside and walks into the apartment. He angrily scolds Yoon-ju for leaving her old apartment because that was never part of their plan. Confused, Yoon-ju reminds him that he never showed up, so she did not know what else to do. That's when Hyung-wook finally explains the truth about what happened to him after the accident. Then he also clears up Jae-sung's misunderstanding. Hyung-wook is not actually a real killer. He only pretends to assassinate people. The murders are completely fake. He uses fake weapons, fake blood, and staged death scenes to fool dangerous people into believing the target is dead. In reality, he secretly helps those people escape and start new lives somewhere safe. He even shares the money he gets from these fake assassination jobs with the victims and provides them with fake identities and documents. Suddenly, everything starts making sense. The mysterious man from the rainy night who secretly picked up the suitcase was actually the victim himself, preparing to disappear forever. And this is also why Yoon-ju kept standing in the street every Thursday with her suitcase, waiting for Hyung-wook to help her escape too. After explaining everything, Hyung-wook says they should continue with the original plan and secretly send Yoon-ju out of the country before the company catches her. When Yoon-ju says she wants Jae-sung to escape with her, Hyung-wook immediately refuses. He tells Jae-sung that he is a useless loser, and nobody would even miss him if he disappeared. But hearing this makes Jae-sung angry. Hyung-wook reminds him that he has been enjoying a dream life that he could never have achieved on his own. He also tells him that his father still believes in him no matter how much of a failure he thinks he is. These words deeply affect Jae-sung. For the first time, he starts believing that maybe he truly can live a better life. So, Hyung-wook comes up with a new plan. Instead of only helping Yoon-ju escape, he decides that all 3 of them should disappear together and start fresh lives with brand new identities. To make this happen, Hyung-wook contacts the company men and tells them to meet at an abandoned building where the job will finally be completed. But before leaving for the mission, Hyung-wook visits Rina one last time. He sadly tells her that he is quitting his job and that they can no longer stay friends because being close to him is dangerous. Rina gets deeply hurt after hearing this sudden goodbye, but she cannot stop worrying about him. So after Hyung-wook leaves, she secretly follows him to discover what is really happening. Meanwhile, at the abandoned building, the company men secretly watch as Jae-sung appears to stab Yoon-ju and hide her dead body behind a broken wall. Then he takes a fake pen drive from her pocket and throws it toward the men, telling them that their deal is finished. Just then, Hyung-wook arrives pretending to be one of the hired assassins sent to kill everyone. Soon, he and Jae-sung begin fighting each other using martial arts and knives. The fight looks extremely real as both of them exchange punches, kicks, and even fake knife stabs as part of their plan. But suddenly, everything gets interrupted when Rina unexpectedly appears there demanding answers. To protect her, Hyung-wook pretends not to know her at all. He even insults her harshly and tells her to leave. But instead of leaving, Rina only becomes more upset and continues yelling at him. While she is distracted, Hyung-wook secretly tells Jae-sung to continue with the plan. So Jae-sung suddenly rushes toward them with a knife. At the perfect moment, Hyung-wook jumps in front of Rina and pretends to sacrifice himself to save her. Now both of them are standing exactly where they need to be. At that moment, Yoon-ju secretly presses a remote control button. Suddenly, a huge factory container crashes down on top of Hyung-wook and Rina. To the company men watching nearby, it looks like both of them have been completely crushed to death. But in reality, the container is hollow inside, and Hyung-wook and Rina are safely hiding within it. it. To make the fake deaths look even more believable, fake blood starts flowing out from underneath the container. The fake blood in the falling container completely fool the company men. Believing Hyung-wook and Rina are dead, they grab the fake pen drive and finally leave the building satisfied. After they are gone, Jae-sung and Eun-ju feel relieved to see each other safe and alive. Overcome with emotion, the two hug each other tightly and finally share a romantic kiss. Meanwhile, outside the building, Hyung-wook runs after Rina, who is still very upset and confused about everything that just happened. He sincerely apologizes for scaring her like that. Then he finally reveals his real age. Hyung-wook tells her that he is actually 45 years old, much older than she thought. Rina becomes completely shocked after hearing this, but at the same time, she finally understands why Hyung-wook believed they should not be together. Still, there is no time to fully talk about their relationship because Rina says she needs to take him somewhere important. She quickly drives him to an amusement park where his TV drama is currently being filmed. There, Hyung-wook is supposed to shoot an emotional scene where his character breaks up with his girlfriend to protect her from danger. But instead of following the original script, Hyung-wook completely changes the dialogue. During the scene, he says that he wants to leave his dangerous old life behind and stay together with the woman he truly loves instead. While saying these words, he keeps looking directly at Rina, making it obvious that the speech is actually meant for her. Rina immediately understands his true feelings. Her eyes fill with happiness, and she softly nods to show that she accepts his love too. Surprisingly, the director absolutely loves Hyung-wook's changed version of the scene and decides to keep it in the drama. After all of this, Hyung-wook returns to working at the restaurant, where Rina's family now fully accepts him as one of their own. At the same time, he also continues growing as an actor. Later, when the story of the TV drama needs a new enemy character, Hyung-wook becomes excited after learning that the role will be played by Jae-sung himself. Now, instead of living fake lives and hiding from each other, the two can finally work together as real partners and friends. And with this scene, the story comes to an end.